it's Mo. It is November 6th, so yesterday was the official start of the new round of the Read What You Own Challenge. The Read What You Own Challenge is a challenge that Criminali created and then shared with the larger world of BookTube. Hey, letting us all participate as well. The Read What You Own Challenge is a challenge to read books that you own before buying or acquiring new books. As we know, I don't buy new books, but I do buy a lot of used books and I do acquire a lot of used books. So I definitely want to participate again this year in the Read What You Own Challenge. I think Criminali's been doing this for like 4 or 5 years. The first year he did it on his own, and then the next year it was opened up to the wider community. I've done it 3 or 4 times and I failed every time except last year. I did win at my Read What You Own Challenge last year. There's a lot of potential things that you could do for this Read What You Own Challenge. You can read a certain number of books, you can read a certain number of pages, you can follow tiers, you can participate in little challenges and stuff. I'll leave Criminali's announcement video listed down below. Like I did last year, I'm just going to try and read 25 books or as many books as I can in the time that I want to start this challenge. So officially the challenge started yesterday, and that's when like Criminali and his co-host started, but I am not going to start this challenge until like the 15th or the 16th of November, but I wanted to make this video just letting you know and reminding myself what all my challenge is going to look like. So I'm going to start the 15th or the 16th of November because there is a book sale, a library book sale that I want to go to on the 15th. I may end up going the 15th or the 16th, or maybe even the 17th, who knows, but I want to wait till after that because I knew I was going to buy books last week, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and then I know I'm going to buy books at that library book sale. There is another library book sale in December that I want to go to, which is the Wall book sale, which if you've been here for a minute, you know that I always go to the Wall book sale. They have it 4 or 5 times a year, and I could have waited till after that, but what I think I'm going to do, because it's like a month in between, is I'm going to start my challenge, and then one of my caveats is going to be that I can go to the Wall book sale. So I'm going to start my challenge on the 15th, around the 15th of November, and not buy or acquire any books until that December book sale. That December book sale is going to be like a free pass. I'm going to be able to buy books at that book sale, and then once again I'm not going to buy books. Last year I only went to like January, but this year I'm going to go till March. The first book sale that I want to really go to in the new year of 2026 is going to be the Chatham library sale. I went there last year and it was fantastic, so I definitely want to make it back to that one, but it's not till March. So I'm going to see how many books I can read between November 15th and the middle of March. I'm not exactly sure when the book sale is going to be. Hey, what are you doing in there? You're causing a lot of noise. So that's my first caveat, is that I can buy books at the Wall library sale. And the next caveat is going to be that if I do happen to acquire a book, which I will try not to do, but if I see one in a little free library, or if I see one at a thrift store or something like that, that I really need to acquire, it will mean that I have to add a book onto my challenge. So I'm going to start with 25 books, try to read 25 books, but say within those 25 books, I acquire 3 books, then I'm going to have to read 28 books. Also, any new books that I acquire throughout this time, including the Wall library sale, I will not be able to count towards my challenge. So if I pick up some fantastic books at the Wall library sale in the middle of this challenge and I read them, they won't count towards my 25 books. And then, of course, books that I don't own that I end up reading don't count either. So if I end up getting a library book that I don't already own, that won't count towards my challenge. If I get a library book like on audio that I do own, that does count to my challenge. And that is how I get through this challenge a lot of times, is by, and just in general, reading books off my shelf, is by reading audiobooks that I own physically. And I love to do this because, one, I can either tandem read, I can read both things. I can co-read, like read the book sometimes, read the audiobook sometimes, or if I know that it's a book that I like on audio, I can know that I'm going to unhaul that book later in the year. So I don't necessarily have to keep books on my shelves if I've read them on audio, because I know I like the audiobook. And then if I end up reading more than 25 books, that's like all the better. Last year I kept a spreadsheet that had the number of books that I had read read, the title, the author, obviously. Then where it was on my RAB spreadsheet, my recently acquired books spreadsheet. So what year I acquired that book or where I got it sometimes depending on when it was. Then it also had a space for notes, which I think was really helpful to just like write in why a book didn't count or why it did count, or if I was gonna maybe unhaul it or if I was gonna keep it. So I'm definitely gonna do that again because I think that was a fun way. You know me, I love a spreadsheet. I love a list. It was a fun way to like cross things off the list and see the list like grow, but also see the spaces where I read books that I either already own, because obviously rereading doesn't count towards my challenge. Only books off my to be read, physical to be read pile count, which you know I have a lot of. It was really fun to see, to visualize what books I was reading. So let's go over all those things again. I'm going to start my challenge around November 15th. I'm going to read 25 books off of my physical TBR before I acquire any more books. If I acquire a book during that time, not only can it not count towards the reading challenge if I read it, but it tacks on another book to the amount of books that I have to read. So I need to be really selective because how am I going to get through all those books? I do have a caveat that I can go to the Wall Library sale, but any books that I buy at the Wall Library sale will not count towards the challenge, but they also won't tack a book on to my challenge. But other than that, no other caveats. I'm going to try and read 25 books, but if I can read more before March and before the library sale I want to go to in March, that's all the better. So I will check in with you maybe in January and let you know how I'm doing on this challenge. That'll be like a little less than halfway mark of this challenge. Let me know if you're participating in the Read What You Own challenge. Let me know what your caveats are. Let me know what your addendums to the rules are. Definitely check out Criminali and all the other hosts down below. And before I leave you, I wanted to let you know that I did stop at a few bookstores recently. I was getting so nervous that the Book Garden, my favorite used bookstore in New Jersey, was in jeopardy, is going to close down because I hadn't been there in like 6 months. And anytime I haven't been to one of my favorite used bookstores, I'm worried that the next time I go, it won't be there. So I decided I wanted to go to the Book Garden. So I wanted to show you the books that I got at the Book Garden. Not very many, not very many. I got My Documents by Alejandro Zambra. This is a collection of short stories and it is a translated work. It was translated from the Spanish by Megan McDowell. I like Megan McDowell's translations. I got Big Swiss by Jen Began. I'm interested in this one. I don't know if I'll like it. I do like that it's a lot of transcripts because it's about a person who is transcribing therapy sessions. I got Now Is Not the Time to Panic by Kevin Wilson. I really loved Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson, so I have no idea what this one's about, but I'm hoping it's good. And I got Tell Me I'm Worthless by Allison Rumfitt. I got one other book too, but now I can't remember what it was. This is a haunted house book. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get through this one because I hear it is really tough. A lot of horror, but also a lot of transphobia and queer shaming and things like that. So some people say it's too exhausting to get through. Some people say it's great. Allison Rumfitt is a trans author, so this is own voices. That makes it slightly better, I guess, but I don't know if I'll be able to handle like listening, reading all those terrible things, but we'll see. On the same day we went to the Book Garden, we also went to the New Egypt Flea Market and I got 4 books for $1. I got The Moonstone by Wilkie Collins, The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins, The Kine Mystery by Freeman Willis Crofts. I've never heard of this author or this book, but it looked kind of interesting. A very cool 60s cover. And I got a copy of The Three Musketeers by Alexandre Dumas because I think I do have a copy of this, but this again was a very cool vintage mass market paperback. I couldn't resist them at $1 each. Not books that I'm planning on reading anytime soon, but ones that I have an interest in reading. And then I also went to a local thrift store in a little church, which is only open like really rare hours, so I was happy to see it open. I got Live Fast by Bridget Garrod. This is translated from the French by Corey Stockwell. I've never heard of this book, but it is a Canadian author and it is a translated work, so I was interested in getting this one. I got Anne McCaffrey, An Exchange of Gifts. I have read some of the Pern books, which are her dragon books, and this is a novella, I think maybe in the same universe or maybe in a different universe, but this little hardcover was just so cute, and I love the idea of a novella, a fantasy novella, so I picked that one up. And then the best find that I found there was Follow Me to Ground by Sue Rainsford. I've been wanting to read this one for quite a while, so I'm glad to have gotten it, and I'm glad to be able to take it off my want to read list on Goodreads it and add it to my TBR. I do plan on reading this one kind of soon. So that's a little haul of some of the last books that I am going to be getting before I start my Read What You Own challenge. I do plan on going to that book sale on the 15th, and that book sale and the December book sale are probably going to be my last book sale videos. I've been doing this project where I've been going to book sales and I've been taking you along with me. So I hope to make them kind of special for a last 2025 book sale video. Let me know if you're participating in the Read What You Own. Let me know if you have any tips, tricks, or ideas for my own Read What You Own challenge. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!